Welcome, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, to the Summer Co-op Tournament 2023, Game 3 between the Cold Hard and Hate and Wumbology. My name is David Hawk. With me in the booth today is my co-commentator, Classic Gamer 76, with our combo restreamer and tracker, Lord Fizzlebeef. Classic Gamer, what are we looking at with these blursings and partings? Obviously, we won't see their parties just yet, but the blursings at least.
Of course, we have one bonus and no malices. The fighter gets telling magic. That'll be great, especially if you hit an early ordeals or something like that. The thief resists fire, ice, and status. Black belts, we won't be seeing those, or they're plus 20 HP. Red mage gets plus heal 2. White mage gets plus 40 HP, so a little more tanky early. Black mage gets fast. That's probably one of the best bonuses.
Gotta say, with this balance and not knowing when they'll get what level of magic, because even Canaria is shuffled in this entrance and floor shuffle we've got going. I could see them taking the Red Mage for that heal too, for early survivability, plus the secondary melee character option.
I could see that as well. Of course, what we can see on the screen is that Admiral Tryhard has fighter, both peasants and bear have thieves, and Hate, I believe that is actually a fighter. Look at him going to his menu earlier.
This is interesting because last night in Game 2 we saw two different party setups where Hate and Admiral Tryhard went with the Thief White-Black, whereas Woobear and Peasants went with the Fighter Thief White-Black, and well, given the weapons that they rolled, they didn't do too bad, but, well, we'll see.
Yep, they had some nice weapons in last night's things called the Masa rolled up, the Katana rolled neutral. Remember there's an Excal, I think that rolled up.
Every single weapon.
You needed.
Yeah, the Vorpal was the -1, but everything else that was actually usable as a weapon pretty much rolled up or neutral.
Even the Vorpal -1 is serviceable, it just had everything else was just so much better. So we should be starting off in about, I think, a minute or so. So this is Game 3, win it all or go home. So the winner will face New Kids on the Block.
Now, a real question here is, will Hate the 13th and Admiral Tryhard remember their mistake from last night in which they bonked on the loot plate?
Yeah, you play this game long enough, at least randomized, that will happen to you, and it happened to them last night. In fact, they both bounced off at about the same time. I remember feeling for them because I've never done a race on a live stream, but I've done it.
Now, we do not have Thief lockpicking enabled, so the Thief at this point is just that general evasibility. And we have the Go, and that is Toph, and looks like On-Rack.
Yep, another early Toph, and nothing, there's no vendor item in the item shop.
Looks like not going to check what that magic is. And ooh, copper bracelet, some silver armor, and chain armor. That's some pretty good kit, especially with that Red Mage Fighter Thief Black that Peasants and Woobear are wrecking. Whereas we've got the Fighter White Black again for Admiral Tryhard and Hate. Well, Fighter this time instead of the Thief solo.
And Garland has Poison Touch and Glare. He's actually a little nastier than usual.
That is shocking and worrying, but
and Peasants actually wipes to Garland, so
meanwhile, Woobear took a fight to get some experience, which probably going to help him out in the long run.
Yep, we'll probably, relaying that to Woobear. I mean, one of the keys of this co-op is how well do the, team members communicate. I've watched these two before, and they communicate very well. Meanwhile, we have the town of Canaria. Is that a level 1 Cure 4 that Knights and Red Wizards will be able to learn?
Yep, and Fire 3 there, so that is a solid sweeper and Cure 4, the Cure It All. Hint, not really much value there, but hey, that's level 1 magic found very fast, which is very huge.
Pez is trying to take down Garland again, knowing issues, as is Wheelbear, of course, making use of that Lightning 2 gauntlet, which is basically the Zeus gauntlet.
That is a flag we are running where we have different caster items shuffled in, so we could have something like an Invis Helm.
Yep, for all I know, that could have originally been the Power Bonk.
I think the Power Bonk is actually in the incentive pool, is it not? Or was that just something the robot had last night?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check the flag set again.
Yeah, I think a ribbon and the Power Bonk are in the incentive pool. Oh, that okay. Is Dwarf Cave has Northwest Castle. That's kind of a proximity thing.
Yep, that'll be good to know for when they find the crown. And they'll say, I mean, they find the key, they might try to check if they're desperate for equipment that there are no spike tiles in this flag set, so they won't be checking that for a grind.
Indeed. Last night, they had a power grind on the Bridge of Destiny, which was Elf Castle. Looks like Northwest Castle is Titan's East.
Yep, and I remember that grind from last night, of course, are the Red Hydras and the double fighter pack, and they would fight those and then go and save and reset, and we found Sarda.
That is a quick incentivized pickup, which could be very valuable, especially since, that is the rod. I was going to say, if it's the Crown Ruby or Oxyale, we know exactly where to take those.
Yep, the rod, we do not know where to take that, but we also don't know what might be behind the rod lock. It could be a fiend, or if you're really lucky and there's, a Sea Split or Marsh Split after it, there could be two.
I mean, it could always be a boat. What's in the box? It's a mystery box. It could even be a boat.
Yeah. Wheelbear considered heading towards, Elf Cave, or where it is in Vanilla, but decided to head east instead to the Metoyas and Provoca location.
Yep, Team Wumbology splitting up with peasants going up towards Toph finding Canaria, whereas Woobear is going to check what we have here at the cave for Matoya's cave, healing up before going in.
And Imp said cremate, that's not too great, but that won't be too much of a pain except early on.
Evidently, I missed Woobear actually checking because he saved out and started walking towards Provoca. Which is Ordeals. That's that early Ordeals you were talking about.
Yep. So those fighters and their telemagic will be able to take advantage of that. Of course, last night I believe we had a fourth pillar Ordeals.
Yep, a fourth pillar Ordeals post the 3 split rooms. And we have a marsh split found already. That is huge to find. That's a few different locations in one entrance.
Yep, and of course we always have the possibility for the legendary marsh split in the sea split.
Very, very true. Of course, the hope there is both. Well, you have telemagic, so you have exit, but you'd want to find a city because deep cities are enabled, I believe. The city or the ice cave, because you could use the save out trick, or you could use the ice exit to get fast exit out of that branch of it. And that is a Canaria or a Cardia Isle chest.
Yep. Meanwhile, Wheelbear has unrunnable ARG oils, which is never fun.
They are a least, and that is a Opal +1 coming out of that Cardia Incentive Island chest location. No incentive item in the Cardia Isle, so this is just a chest with some gold, it seems. But a fast axe is pretty damn valuable. Yeah, you get the free fast with the Black Mage, but that is an extra item cast. No charges.
That free fast goes to level 8, so you don't necessarily get a lot of charges, whereas, with the axe, you get a solid infinity charges. I think I like having that number. Yeah,
put it on the warrior or fighter so he can fast himself for the lack of the Black Mage. It looks like the Marsh Split is the Elfland, and the Elfland Castle is the lava floor, or one of the lava floors on Volcano. I think that was that the Agama floor, or was that the entrance to one of the floors going down to it?
I didn't catch it. This is definitely that's Peasants is in the top floor of Volcano right now, or at least would be in vanilla. And Woobear's made his way through the pillar maze, taking advantage of that telemagic.
Yep,
Or
getting
getting lucky,
back
one of
to
the two.
Pillar 3. And Saberbonk located. Loose incentivize them in ordeals.
Yep, that's always very good to find. Find the fast acts. You have this saber bonk. End up with a solo knight, solo ninja, something like that. That really makes things nicer. And the canoe out of ordeals. That's a big find.
Little boat, big value.
Yep, that opens up, the crescent location, the ice cave location, volcano location.
Of talking volcano, that is Carrie's floor located by Emerald Tryhard.
It would save on game over on. They might just try to take a whack. Odds are it won't go too well, but we saw some of that last night. An Iron Shield +5 is very serviceable at this point in the game.
Yes, short of the elemental shields, that's the best kind of gear he can get on that slot for that fight or pre-promotion.
And be pretty decent for a ninja post-promotion. Meanwhile, Hate's picking up his Saber Bonk. He's going to be happy to see that.
Unlike the main incentive items, that Saberbonk does not share over in co-op, so if either of these racers want what their party or their partner finds, they will have to go there.
Meanwhile, Peasants has found the Sharknado floor, going to grab the chests out of there.
As Woobear is on the Ice Cave loop, which I think is actually an Ice Cave, unless that was Peasants going to Ice Cave.
I think it was Woobear going to Ice Cave, but meanwhile we have Admiral taking on Carrie, who's hitting hard. He's fast enough to fight. Ooh, I see 23 damage. That is not promising.
Cure 4 coming out because the Black Mage takes a boatload of damage. Fast already on that or on that fighter, but only 95 damage, I believe there. 15 that time. That is going to be a fairly dead. Oh, and poison damage from Carrie.
Yep. And I guess out of Cure 4 charges because he's just waiting with the White Mage and...
Loose Canal in the 6-pack on the drop-down floor of ice. That is another loose item found. And yep, we just big item.
Yes, just need our bigger boat. Meanwhile, Admiral Tryhard did wipe out of Carrie, and that is floor that leads to Agama floor, I do believe. Right.
So Ice Cave was Ice Cave, but it skipped Ice 1. That's what we have found.
So it's an abbreviated Ice Cave, and the Aegis +3 in the Sharknado room.
Yeah, one of the best shields they can put on post-promotion, which I'm certain they will want that tail.
Oh, yes.
Lit 3 Gaunt, that's not bad. That's another cast item. 2 of them, actually.
Well, I'm going to try hard if it's getting some business from lobsters and sea snakes, but he should be able to, especially with the lightning 2 bonk, should be able to take them down. And did Peasants check that linked chest? Because I think you often see in Entrance Floor Shuffle is, they're more likely to check that chest, even though it's one, normally you memory hold out, especially in vanilla, and it looks like we found the greater than less than floor.
Now, I missed it, but our note taker definitely got it. Thank you, Lord Fizzlebeat. That was the crown coming out of ice proper. So these runners now know that they can go back to that Northwest Castle location that wasn't at Northwest Castle. Thank you, Floor Shuffle. And fight themselves in Astos to get whatever that is. And I wouldn't doubt that that's the ship at this point.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if it wasn't the ship or something that led to the ship, although I'm not sure there's any other possibilities left in the Inner Sea.
They still have sages potentially, or something else that is at Crescent. We have not seen just yet, and it looks like Volcano is one of the one another Cardia Isle chest locations. Now, annoyingly, finding these at all, Roostick, that is huge. If they found Bahamut early, that would have been all of these chests because Bahamut's Horde is enabled.
The only thing of note in greater than less than was a giant sword +5. That's Actually, a pretty decent weapon when it rolls up that high.
It is a beefy stick, regardless at this point. Given that there's no access to a Masa just yet, or any other such big stick, a Sun Sword would be huge as well if we can get one of those rolled up.
Oh yes, rolled up Sun Sword would be huge. Interesting. Peasants healed up with his Black Mage down to 1 HP. But didn't we have save on Game Over on? That
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so it might have just been just as easy to take the wipe there.
We gotta look at level 5 magic because Melman is at Crescent, and we had life and we had life and lit 3 there spotted.
Yep, and heal 3 as well. That's a pretty good recovery spell. Beats the heal 2 that Red Mage came with.
And we have confirmed that the shop item is nowhere in the inner seat.
It's like yesterday we were finding some other annoying encounters that are unrunnable. Well, that Kershark wasn't too bad.
Forced XP grinding on the walk, but hey. And Hate picking up the crown for his team on the ice floor. Not having the charge to exit out, it seems, but that is the nice thing about the link back for Ice Cave. When you take the exit on the final floor, it takes you out, regardless of how deep you are. And then we have the Astos fight from Woobear. I missed what Astos had, but I'm fairly certain we'll see it soon because casting multiple fire 3s and swinging with multiple reasonably powerful melee characters should not keep Astos alive for long. And there it is.
There's some rolls on the spells. We got enough of them, and we get the bottle.
Unfortunately, unlike last night, we don't have an early Gaia, but that is an item worth some experience, and that leaves a question because we have not seen the canal or the ship or the floater. So what next?
I believe we did see a loose canal, didn't we?
Oh yeah, the canal was loose. My mistake. We were looking for the boat and or the floater.
Yep. All right, Hate heading his way to Volcano. Finds a volcano floor. What a place to find a volcano for, meanwhile. And we'll try hard, going to greater than less than. It's going to get some experience, a little bit of money. Saber +4, which decent enough for a thief, I suppose. And that giant +5, which definitely give that to the fighter.
Well, interesting note here. Hate went to Volcano, found the Cardia treasure room, but didn't raid it. Gonna wait until he finds Bahamut. May miss out on that roost stick early, but at this point I doubt he's gonna want to worry about the roost stick if he faces a party he can't run away from at this point.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, roost sticks could be less of a concern unless, could have helped against Carry perhaps, but usually you worry about that more when it comes to Topher.
Indeed. Now, a nice thing to see with that 3-man party, that fighter is already over 300 hit points. Pretty dang beefy, almost 400 for Admiral Tryhard, who has found Waterfall with an almost immediate room and a chime.
Yep. And that chime will get us in somewhere, perhaps Mirage. And we won't know where it's locked, but we do have randomized chime lock location on.
That Mud Gull is some pretty juicy experience for a few party members, but they're a little tough and chewy.
And the robot, of course, doing what it likes to do and blocking off the chest. We'll see if he's finding anything good, such as a loose TNT, for example.
Well, that's a turn-in for when we find dwarfs, which may turn into lazy dwarfs. But either way, Woobear, down bottom right here, is taking on Carry for Team Wumbology. Let's see if that extra experience and the access to things like a Saber Bonk make this an easier fight.
Yep, or at least a more doable. Of course, that roost stick, that's going to be big for Carry. Got luck, got fast. Worst thing would happen is a quick melee on the fighter, but that doesn't happen. Carry hits the thief, who Flies back 2 hits, something like 6-8 damage.
Interesting, putting the ruse stick on the fighter to ruse it up, not rusing up the front-facing thief. But yeah, focus on the main character to do the damage, keep it survivable. Bye-bye, Red Mage.
Yep. This carry is not playing around. Meanwhile, and Tryhard's about to get his bottle from Astos. And the thief is like, I am tired of, or excuse me, Carrie's like, I'm tired of this thief tickling me. I'm get it down. Meanwhile, more and more locks coming out from the Black Mage. At least they were, not anymore. But now that fighter should be close to max. I don't think we've seen any spells out of Carrie, so unless she crits like she did this there.
Carrie is definitely being punch happy, but that big swinging hammer and oh, interesting. Peasants found Canaria Castle. I didn't see where that was, but Haate 13th there as well.
And there's our ship and our cube.
That is huge. We do not have Canaria locked. Oh, that is what was in Sarda's or at Matoya's that I missed earlier. That makes sense.
Yep, there's nothing to get there earlier. Well, I mean, you could have gotten the cube from the king, but of course that would not have worked out well. It would have been better to come back when the princess was there. Meanwhile, Woobear has taken down Carrie, so we have one orb lit for Team Wumbology.
And ironically, the Fane is where Melman normally would be, because Melman is not normally where Melman would normally be, but that makes it easy to translate the slab and get back there, because they are in close proximity.
Woobear headed down and found the Opal +5 and the... Okay, that's where the Opal Cheerio was.
Indeedly do. And we have found mermaids. That is a chunk of items to be found, potentially locating that last loose, and a carbonation of bubbles that is, I believe Peasants and or Woobear did not earlier.
Yeah, in fact, finding the Sun +1 sword, but not going to carbonate that mermaid. And that mermaid has 2 chests in her rooms. Worth it going to any room. It's worth it going to her. Okay, here we go. Thank you, peasants.
Job done. Obviously, Haate the 13th going to carbonate a Bubbles, given he is a founding member of the Bubbles Soda Company.
Yep. But that Sun +1 sword, that is great for the fighter. I'd be curious how that stacks up against the Giant +5, but also, if you're facing a Lich or something like that, it's undead, you definitely want that Sun Sword. And we have the Bridge of Destiny.
And it's a relatively easy place to get to, so that is, well, relatively, it's actually on rack, but either way, that is a Fiend found with a grind location. Again, it's our Hydras off the reboot, as Sky 2 is actually at Earth Cave. That is an incentivized location floor with good encounters potentially.
Yep, and of course, finding that Bridge of Destiny, like you pointed out, the Hydras, I mean, everyone did that in the last game. They went to the Bridge of Destiny, did some quick grinds. I mean, of course, you think Bridge of Destiny, you often think Warmac, but there's a lot of good experienced fights on that bridge, and it's got a fairly high encounter rate, so you'll get them sooner rather than later.
I thought Sky was incentivized. It might not be in this flag set either way. And looking at our notes, no, Sky is not incentivized. I was mistaken. Well, good experience on these encounters, and another floor after this, as we found Admiral Tryhard in Provoca, finding Temper at level 2 black. That's huge find.
That is a good find. Zap there as well, which can help you get over some speed bumps sometimes. Which speed bumps, like the other fiends, are going to be a bit more chonky, so Zap strats could be a thing.
Yeah, looking back at White Magic, that was Harm 4, Slot 2, and White 2. That's another huge spell. That is a sweeper. At least for the White Mages that Haate 13th and Admiral Tryhard had. That's not as effective for Woobear's party. And the Q block has been located. With a cube in hand, peasants will have a chance to take care of that. Or Link finding floor 1 for Mirage as Admiral Tryhard takes up the Oxale along with Woo Bear picking it up from Bicky. That is access to that on-rack, or yeah, that on-rack dungeon which we've already located.
Yep, that was located right at the beginning of the seed, and so now they'll be able to head in there, and maybe somewhere in there they can find maybe a floater or something like that.
Peasants losing 3 party members, finally taking down a pack of vampires, but that is a level 21 red mage for that one surviving party member, so probably working out for him for some charges.
Yep, and I believe the hint giver mentioned the loot on floor 5 of Sardis Cave. Which,
well, that's interesting.
Of course, well, Tryhard and Haate are probably really thinking about that loot. They don't want a repeat of yesterday.
Oop, we've got the Volcano Armory at Ordeals. Given that we saw things like Amasa on this floor last night, let's see what we find now.
Yep.
That was an ice +2 sword for peasants. That's pretty dang valuable coming off that Mirage 1 floor.
And Haate taking out some metal slimes, getting some great experience. One of those good sky encounters.
And some opal plates showing up as well. This, when they promote, this night's going to be pretty well stacked for equipment.
Yep, was that a Harm 3 shirt? That looks... Yep, Harm 3 +5, so that'll be great for one of the mages after promotion. Just because it's a white casting item doesn't mean it isn't the black shirt.
And we have also found the bottom of Marsh. Being out of the inner sea, finding a lot of places, finding a lot of things, a very chest-rich set of environments as well, given we still have that one loose... Ooh, iguanas with poison. That's spicy.
Yeah, that's a little annoying.
Ice +3 shield, huge find, both for the fighter now and the ninja post-promotion, with that opal taking that place for the fighter slot.
Yes, indeed. Very fine. Of course, it also gives, fire elemental resistance, which the thief has anyway, but the fighter does not. And more annoying Argyles for Woo Bear.
Now, knowing that Sardis Cave has at least 5 floors, that means a good chunk of connector floors will not be elsewhere, so we might see some relatively quick dives on these other locations.
Yeah, sometimes with entrance and floor shuffle, sometimes it looks like it tries to recreate Deep Dungeon with one of the locations, and the others are like 1, 2, 3 deep. And there's Bahamut. That is what was in on-rack.
That is huge to find. Now getting that tail, and of course that's a relatively close to Topher. So far the route's not super divergent. Obviously teammates being able to divert and split up the search, but still we're only found 2 fiends at this point, if I remember correctly. It's Carrie, who we have seen fought and defeated. Oh, we have found Matoya with the crystal in hand, so that is another pickup, and a rune +3, another excellent sword.
Yeah, that's great for that thief in particular. And we get the herb out of Matoya. Is this even randomized? But I don't think we've seen Elf Castle yet. Peasants, meanwhile, finds the Bridge of Destiny. Says, no thank you for right now.
Draco Whale pointing out the fast axe in hand. Definitely noticed and very, very useful. And hey, there's Elf Castle. It was at the bottom of the waterfall. What does our Elf Prince have for our racers? It is the slab, and we know where Lefane and Melman are, so that's another quick turnaround.
Yep, so be able to turn those in. Of course, there is no Lefane Superstore in this flag sets.
Can't give them too many options. As Woobear making his way through the desert, going to check what Mirage Tower has, and that is Elflin. That is level 2 and level 3 magic, as well as a store that may well have our shop item with Warp at level 3. That is huge to find. That free Warp casts and exit casts on the fighter, nice to have, but more Warp, never a bad thing. Admiral Tryhard getting the Warp, and that is the Adamant for sale. So now we have Adamant and TNT located, so the Dwarf Cave will be 2 individually separate items, no lazy dwarfs. Meanwhile,
yeah. Swoobear checked white 3.
I do not think he did. He went back to black and is going white now after getting the spells he wanted. Peasants, meanwhile, tried the Bridge of Destiny, found some metal slimes, and then noped out of there.
Yep. Meanwhile, Life 2 will be learnable by the Knight and is learnable by the Red Mage. Expert is as well, which...
The Life 2 thing is definitely the excellent there, especially with the... well, Life 2 not so useful in battle, but Life 2 in general, very useful. Ooh, handy mention of the ship. Nuke level 4 acquired. Yep, Red and Black Mage.
And of course, it's also a good idea not to fade level 4 white.
Har.
Of course, also, anyone who had a Red Mage and quickly bought Fade might have been kicking themselves after that.
What a misuse of money. I'm actually kind of shocked that Peasants saved out or reset out of Ordeals, because I thought there was a fairly valuable item in the top of Ordeals that might have been worth the run.
Yeah, there was. I'm just recalling what it was. You know, I have a nice juicy steak on Hate's stream, but he resets out of it because sometimes...
Sorry, Lord Fizzlebeath mentioning that it was the Saberbonk that was up there.
Yep, that is a very nice item to have, but of course, is it absolutely key? It's not progression, it will take time. And meanwhile, Peasants is translating his slab.
No Loopaloopas for him. And Woobear taking advantage of that synchronization, having the slab translated, is going to get the Loopaloopa talk in. Just waiting for it to tick over. And there you see the letters pop up and floater acquired.
Alright, so Wumbology gets the floater just under the 30-minute mark, so that's really big for them. We'll see, when Cold Heart and the Hate finds it. They're probably not far off.
Good proximity for Peasants, already right there. Easy run, slightly longer ship run with Woobear going across the ocean. But from there, we've got Cardia Isle checks that weren't on that docked location. We got the Gaia check here, and we also have Sarda's Cave and Titan's West check. Ooh, Gaia is dwarves. Actually, quite thematically accurate, being a, mountain people.
Yep. So he says, and there's the tail from Smithy. So, tails made of forged from adamant work just as well for Bahamut.
Might as well be an adamant whip. And the Ruby to see what's behind the Titan's tunnel. The Titan's trove is not incentivized, but hey, we're still down a loose.
And so Peasants took a few steps towards the dwarf armory, checked to see what he had the key, and realized, oh, I don't have it. I'm out of here. It was a heads-up play on his part, realizing, yeah, I don't have this right now.
Woobear getting that promotion first thing as Peasants makes the proximity run down to Lefane to see what's there.
Well, that card has already been looted. Yeah, no katana right by Bahamut this time.
Sad but true. In fact, we have not seen the Vorpal or many other of the extremely premium weapons. I mean, that Sun Sword, very premium in my opinion, but
I mean, some
Sure, not
sort
a Masa.
yeah. And it's also no Katana or Vorpal because it does not have a good crit rate.
1,000 plus or 1,100 cost house is not horrible, as Lefane is actually Crescent, so that's access to the Sages.
Yep. Meanwhile, Cold Heart and Hate has the slab translated, so as soon as they head to Lefane, they will get their floater. They will be happy to see that.
Woobear going Coral +3, just saying no. Also, Titans East or West was Titans West, it seems.
A strange place to find Titans West. Probably the last thing you'd expect there.
And Sarda's Cave is the Rod Lock, so that's a deeper dungeon hidden behind an item they already have.
Yep. And of course, remember the Hint Giver said the loot was there, so Rod required.
And Ribbon out of the Sages, that's a long run that I'm very certain Woobear's gonna make.
Yes. Always when, unless they find loose ribbons, and that's always a gamble. That it's definitely worth to take that time to get a ribbon. That can save you, 10-minute wipe.
Yeah, looks like Hate 13th gonna go to check the Lefanian Hint Giver, see what we've got here. And it's just talking about the Rod. Not relevant.
Yep. But they're about to get their floater, so they will be in the air pretty shortly. Meanwhile, Woobear is going to roll over Speed Bump Jr. here shortly.
Wouldn't a Speed Bump Jr. be just a cat's eye in the road?
Something like that.
Just a poorly made cat's eye that doesn't reflect light properly, so it's a dark hole in the road. Either way, with Nuke and or Fade, this is going to be like a 1 or 2 shot. Bye-bye.
Yep. Alright. Hate, the first member of Cold Heart and Hate in the air at about the 33-minute mark, so really only about a 3-minute difference in getting the floater.
Very true, and getting that fast jaunt south. Gonna go ahead and get the promote. Gonna liberate the Hooray Dwarf from his one-word hell.
And also getting his tail, so they're going to be delighted to see that. One of the nice things about getting a tail relatively early is that you'll be able to get some levels on the Knight and the Ninja and get some of those spells.
Very true. The incentive to not get past level 15 so you can get optimal spell charge gain on those 2 character classes. Obviously, in this situation, with the unrunnable encounters, it's less likely to be able to maintain that, but
As long as you're able to get enough levels post-promotion, it really doesn't matter so much. It's just you get like really high, you max out before you get all the spell charges, and Peasants is now promoting. They've got some good armor to go with the promoted classes. They just need a few legendary weapons.
indeedly do. And that is everyone except for Admiral Tryhard, who is currently dungeon diving as far as promotion.
Of course, now Woobear sees that Opal Shield +5 and is like, yes, please.
And Peasants finding the Roo Stick that he did not grab earlier, gonna be happy to have that, along with that Saberpunk. That's evasion and buffs just cast upon oneself. And not having an exit charge, gonna have to walk it out.
Yep. Of course, there's always the Death Warp option too, but sometimes it's like with the grind, the monsters don't cooperate, although the Batman for Woobear will gladly help him Death Warp out. I don't think that's his goal.
Yeah, and it looks like Exit and Warp were level 7 on rack. Nothing too valuable at this point. Or sorry, Exit and Ruse. Admiral Tryhard currently doing the deep dive that Woobear is doing, as Peasants has gone Cardia Isle diving and checking out the Sky Maze at Cardia Forest.
Yep, so we'll see what's past there. We know that it won't be the Bridge of Destiny because we've seen that, but we could find a Lich Floor or a Kraken Floor.
Exactly.
And Fire's being a little annoying with their stop. And sleep.
Or what we could find is Gaia, so we can turn this bottle in, and that is the loot, which was on Sky 1, 5 floors down in Sardis Cave. Located in a random right side chest. That was our last loose.
Yep, and of course Admiral Tryhard is on that floor now, so he is going to find that shortly and pick that up. He wants to get some experience from these snake ladies first.
And it looks like Cardia Forest is our sea split.
Yep. Only seen 2 fiends so far, so
That is looks like TFC floor located. Finding another ice +2. Not gonna bother with that. Just being reminded though, update those weapons. It's a rune 3 and an ice 2 stacked up for the thief and the warrior for Woo Bear.
well, at level 6 we've got Braca and Ice 3. Those are some good spells. We know where Tia is. We haven't seen Kraken yet. And of course, Ice 3, very nice elemental sweeper.
Dragon +5, really fun sword, but not an upgrade at this point coming out of that marsh top. And Earth Armory found at the bottom of the sea split, which is normally the left side, I assume.
Yep.
Given that the entrance is the left side sea split staircase.
Yeah. I mean, if I was about to fight Tia, I'd probably, with that +35 bonus, I'd probably put on that Dragon +5 sword, but otherwise, I mean, stick with what we have.
And Agma floor, another chest dense area, but with all the loose located. This is a search for a katana or a masa.
Yep, some in-game weapon, even if they find some... Ooh, a Brack helmet, that's pretty nice.
That's Kraken elimination gear. That's +2, so it's a... Ooh, ribbon.
Ooh, a loose ribbon.
Found.
Even better helmet. And of course, you know, with the teammates communicating, one of them finds a good weapon, you'll expect to see the other going back as soon as they can, and no key, no TFC, so the Masa +3 or whatever that's in there, they won't be able to get right now.
Flame +4, another really buffed up elemental weapon. Question is, do you use that? Shifting around, looks like the flame sword is going on the fighter and the sun sword is going on the thief that is currently laying flat.
Yeah, thieves cannot use sun swords pre-promotion.
Well, in this case it is a ninja. And that is a warp or exit out because having promoted, having raided all of Bahamut's hordes, that last Cardia Isle location is unnecessary to be searched.
Of course, notice with the TFC chest, neither team has gotten the key yet, and they will need that for Topher. Begs the question of which incentive locations are still left.
I do believe it's finding Gaia to turn in the bottle.
That's what it looks like. I don't see anything else remaining, so need to find Gaia.
And we only have a few Cardia Isles left as far as locations that our runners have not searched yet, so...
Right, meanwhile, peasants going through the Earth Armory finding a lockstaff. That's not too bad. Like some of the equipment can help us. You know, if you find yourself in man mode with... Actually, you know, some of these hard-hitting fiends, like we've seen... That could easily happen.
This is kind of bad. Hate the 13th not checking the top left room on that Agma floor is not going to get the ribbon.
Yep, it's out of the way. It's an understandable move. You could argue that, you know, what are the odds of a ribbon being in there? Well, And this seed 100%.
I'm sure we could ask the developers and they'd give us an exact value. Praise be the developers, and the XCal was in the C connector hallway and it was rolled -2, but it is still an XCal and that is still a very potent stick.
Yep. I'll still get a very good bonus against, not anything except Chaos. Now against Chaos, not so much. But
Well, how about the
I do have
Lich?
Floor, yep. Alright, so, hi Lich. Attack, attack, nuke, nuke.
That is a thick Lich.
Yep. But not thick enough. Bye, Lich.
At this point, it may as well have been a steamroller coming through to deal with Lich, but that Cardia Forest deep dive is done as Admiral Tryhard finishes up the promotions for all racers on stream.
Yep. Meanwhile, Barrow's on Sky 3 checking out the 6-pack, didn't get anything much. He skips the greed chest and CC's Gambit and finds Earth 1.
As his teammate Peasants goes to Cardia Plains, gets the key from the ferry in Gaia, and puts his team into go mode. We know where the Sky Bridge is. We now know where Kraken is with Woobear there.
Yep.
Peasants immediately going to go ahead and go to Onrak and get to the Sky Bridge and put their team into full go mode.
Meanwhile, somewhere, Haate picked up a Vorpal -2, which... Okay, and the XCal also rolled down, so... Where are the Katana and Masa? And what did they roll?
Could be back in their normal chests. I do believe that's Carrie's floor and Tia's floor, but who knows?
At least in Topher, and didn't check the vanilla Katana chest in Sky 3. That was skipped. Or at least by Woobear.
We have a Kraken fight going down, we've got a Lich fight going down, and we've got a Tia fight on the way. Bye-bye Black Mage, if that was even up in the first place. Temper coming out, gonna focus the power on that fighter with the XCal.
It was up, but not anymore. Same goes for that ninja, as a matter of fact, and Rusing the Knight just...
Leave the temper casts instead of trying to saber. Blizzard coming out doing some damage, but that high performance armor that knight is already equipped with doing its job.
Yep, and of course the knight, I remember, had resistance to ice, so... And that was looking... Let's manually try warp. And there goes the red mage. And there goes Kraken. So that's going to be 3 orbs for Wumbology, and a 4th possibly on the way here, depending on how this Tia fight goes.
And perhaps for good value, that knight was the only one surviving, so that was level 23 for the knight for Woobear. And immediately going to Onrak and a Bridge of Destiny grind. Speaking of Bridge of Destiny grind, Admiral Tryhard has found Warmac.
Alright, he's taking the fight. I mean, great experience, and even if not, it's good information for Topher, because if you see something like a Cure 4 on Warmac, I'm pretty happy because I know the Topher fiends won't have it.
The good question is, how deep is Warmac into the encounter table? Because Woobear might just find it, or might find a fight he doesn't want, warp out, and just loop back for that fight. Oh, Woobear, since looks like Peasants failed out, Woobear's taking his shot at Tia.
Yep. And Peasants is doing the grind. Meanwhile, we have Warmac versus 1 Knight, 1 White Wizard. And heal 2, that came out. Well, actually, no, it did heal the Wizard a little. What is that Knight? Did they found that Flame Sword? Because one thing now I have to remember is the Flame Sword actually gets a bonus against Warmac.
Fire magic versus metal melting.
Yep, it melts the regenerative parts of Warmac and does extra damage, apparently. Got to fry the right circuits. Ooh! And bad turnover. The Knight goes down before Tier 4 can come out.
Switching up to Harm Force strats at this point, but nope. Warmech does the kick, and that is a dead party. Meanwhile, Peasant's doing the grind. Tia taking a whack ton of damage for that hit. Woobear has done full stacks and swings. More temper coming out. 2 more stacks coming into swing again. More temper stacks, just going one-sided buff and go.
Yep. I'm not sure if Woobear has Brack. I remember Peasants tried it but didn't get the luck. But don't need Brack when you slice Tia up for 1300 damage.
Indeedly do. And that is go mode, full force for Peasants and Woobear. Team Wumbology, our first team with 4 orbs lit. As Admiral Tryhard and Hate 13th split up as they are, Admiral Tryhard going for that Sky Orb as Hate is trying to take on Kraken.
Yep, so this could actually get really close really quick because they know where Carrie is. She isn't far away.
And we have the advantage of levels going back to Carrie, as well as the rate at which those levels can be stacked on that 3-member party for Admiral Tryhard and Hate. They could catch up on any grinds that Woobear and Peasants are doing at the moment.
Yep, be interesting because with the 3-man party, especially with the 1 melee, if you get meleeed in Topher, suddenly you're down to 2 mages. On the other hand, you get the extra levels from 3 characters, and that's less likely to happen.
And it looks like Peasants and Woobear are going for the raw red Hydras. It's a very fast first encounter, and just walking out, saving, and resetting to get that taken care of. As Hate 13 takes care of Kraken, that is a carry and the Tia fight for his teammate away from go mode for their team.
Yep, they like the strategy because they're getting a lot of experience quickly. I mean, sure, you get a ton from Mormac, but that's not an easy fight, and you can get more experience per time, with something like the Red Hydras.
Very true. I mean, that's the advantage of a grind on an encounter on a tile, where you can just walk in and out of the tile rather than having to walk around to get to an encounter in the overworld kind of thing. Peasants running away, either done with the leveling or done or out of save items. Either way, wants to get a shot in, and looks like Woobear also saving out. Is he about to leave? Nope, continuing the grind.
Yep, getting a few extra levels. Of course, the scaling's a little higher than some of the others, so I definitely see, like last night when they wanted to get a few levels. I've seen some pretty hard fiend hits, and I like this. Peasants is going back and picking up, temper for the ninja and others who might not have it.
Indeedly do. Getting those casts of that magic. Gonna get that harm for if he wants the heal 2 just in case. Yep, picking the heal 2 just in case. As Admiral Tryhard doing the exact same thing, going to level 3 magic for their warrior.
If getting that light 2 on the knight, that can be such a dive saver.
Hate the 13th picking up some rock calls there on Sky 3, getting some good experience from that instead of the R Hydras. In fact, I think this is a better grind. A 4-pack of rock calls should be a bit better than 4 red Hydras. They are a much later game encounter. Yes, they are.
So that was a play on Hate's part, but meanwhile, it looks like Peasants is about to enter Topher. We are going to have our first runner in the Topher at just over the 50.5-minute mark.
Definitely a better pace than last night. But how many of these encounters will be unrunnable?
That's a good question. There was a plethora of them last night, which, that was the sea being generous, saying, runners, you need some more experience in Topher. Here's a whole bunch of fights you have to take.
Yeah, it eats into the spells and the supply chest. The one thing with that save on death is if you die, you keep the experience you got grinding your way into Topher, but you've just lost any and all poison or potions that you used up. So if you're relying on those, you have to walk your way back to a city to buy them.
Yep. Peasants validated the run and probably told Wheelbear, don't bother.
Understandably so. As Hate 13th going to get Carrie, going to get that last orb lit as his teammate is doing the rock golem grind that he had been doing earlier.
Yep, good heads up. Again, we've seen the good communication. Hate says, hey, there are rock golls here. They're great experience. You've got a bunch of sweepers. And, Topher has something nasty, and if he scales it easily can. This is anyone's race.
This is very true. We saw Warmech. Warmech did stomp things, but we did not see big sweeper spells. We didn't see any of the nuclears, none of the nukes.
Yep. Didn't see Cure 4 either. I don't think we saw... We basically saw none of that, so... You hope it's mostly on Lich who, promptly exits or goes to the 4th dimension. I think we've seen Cake, so it has to have been level 8.
And our final fight on the Normal Fiends is done for Hate 13th Admiral Tryhard. They are good to go into Topher as Peasants and Woobear are at or about to take the fight with Lich 2. Going with Tempers, going with Swings. 4 hits for pretty solid damage out of that fighter. Just going to go more swings. Choosing to not use the Temper, going with some damage spells to save those up. Nukes just in case.
Yep, of course. See, you've seen the X-Cal and someone pulled out a Vorpal, but neither of those rolled particularly great. So, especially against Chaos, this they could really have some issues damaging. It's open the Fiends always, whack a Garland.
An interesting fact there, I had mentioned the idea of using that Sunsword on the Thief, or the Ninja, Peasants forgot to equip it, so I was wondering why it only did 4 damage when it attacked Lich. Now it's equipped.
Yeah, probably get more effective DPS with the weapon actually equipped.
Yeah, we got this interesting encounter. Garland right before Toph, gonna get free the princess so he doesn't have to go. Saves that encounter set, having his teammate do it earlier. And Carry 2 for both. And Carry can stone people.
Yes, another thing is, I believe Garland had Glare, so... And we've seen the incentive and we've seen one other ribbon, but...
And Nuclear on Carry.
Yeah, this Carry is not playing around. But, 1,227 damage and Carry's not playing anymore.
Yeah, that X-Scal doing a lot of work on that warrior.
Yep, and 1,311 on Peasant's side, so, yes. Even though it's rolled down, that X-Cal is very potent, at least up until Chaos.
Very true, at which point it no longer has its bonuses, it's just a big sword. If Chaos rolls thick, and of course we have the Garland Chaos Party Pack, so there's more than just Chaos to deal with up front. As we have our Kraken 2 encounter first for Woobear.
Leads off with Bane, and I think I know where the ribbons are, at least one of them.
That is dead secondary Blackcaster and primary Blackcaster, but the Red Mage is still up.
Yep. Or sometimes you say that and it turns out one was a 3 and 256.
Well, it worked for both party members with this set seed randomization for these encounters. Having the same party on the same seed, they're going to see the exact same things coming out of these fiends.
Yep, so...
locked RNG.
So which means... I think Peasants did something different to change the RNG when he saw that, oh, that will result in an attack on the Red Mage. Of course, that ended up happening anyway. So now Life 2 on that Knight looks pretty big. And we have Hate already down to Lich 2. As is Admiral Tryhard.
They're trying to catch up, and based on how this Kraken 2 is going, they could.
Yep. And Kraken 2 also had Swirl, and oh! Peasants wipes the Kraken 2.
And looks like Peasants is gonna go shopping for some spells. Meanwhile, Woobear is through.
Yep. On to Tia 2, so we'll see what she has. That's a pretty
Triple.
hard hit on the ninja. And of course, I don't know what exactly is equipped, but ninjas can usually wear some pretty strong armor.
Indeed. You've got the elemental armor plates and shields that can be equipped on that ninja post-promotion.
Yeah. Black Mages, not so much, and Tia takes down the Black Mage. Meanwhile, we have double carry 2. Looks like Peasant's going for a quick overworld grind on the desert. That's what it looks like he's doing.
Or just trying to remember where what was, is, and things to get magic.
Meanwhile, both Admiral Tryhard and Haate are pulling up on their Kraken 2, so we'll see how this goes for them.
That three-man party is Bane immediately takes down the melee character. Locke coming out doesn't, not a bad thing, but the Invis 2 ain't gonna do jack for that dead melee character.
But does he have Life 1? He does. Of course, Life 2 doesn't work in battle, but Life 1 does.
Yeah, and Life 1 has that downside of bringing it back up with only 20 or so hit points. And so Fire 3 does the kill.
Yeah. Beat me to it. Say, Fire 3 could take it right down. I like what he tried, as though he tried the Brack, and Kraken tries to take down the White Wizard as he does, but 53 HP, well, that plus 40 didn't quite save it there, but or at least it would have still had 13 to spare without the plus 40.
Yeah, Lord Fizzlebeef, our tracker, pointing out that Haate doesn't have ribbons. Not only did he not get the ribbon that we knew was in Loose and Lava, but did go ahead and miss out on the incentive ribbon, perhaps?
That's what he had to do. And of course, it's a long walk, but it can certainly save you. Meanwhile, Kraken 2 back rows Admiral Tryhard's White Wizard with Zap. Meanwhile, Wheelbear is down to 1 Garland and Chaos and his Knight.
With a Saber Bonk and a Ruse Stick and a Fast Axe, this Knight could be pretty dang self-sufficient. Now he just has to figure out which one is actually Chaos.
I mean, if he cast some sweeper before, he would know.
Unfortunately, what sweepers he cast came out of the party members that were dead, and only 2 are surviving, which 50-50. It is that one.
Yep. Of course, yeah, get rid of the Garland because he still has Glare, but Chaos has Nuke.
Chaos is no joke, and there is no healing to counteract the damage that's being done. At this point, it's just trying to get the damage. It looks like that Vorpal is equipped, or it's a blue sword of some sort.
That might be the Ice Sword. And another nuke from Chaos, and, well, oh! Crit through the evasion, and he goes down.
And just like that, Wumbology, both players having wiped out. We've got Peasants back to carry 2. Meanwhile, on the other side, Admiral Tryhard is at Tia, and Haate 13th finally beats that Kraken 2 on his way to Tia as well. They have now taken the lead.
Jumano in chat asks, was that 2 nukes on that Chaos? I believe so.
I will admit I do have the tools to check, and I will check to see.
Tia also has Blaze.
Yep, that is 2 nukes on Chaos.
I am not sure what Admiral Tryhard has used. That almost looks like it could be a rune sword, which would actually, since Tia is a spellcaster, be very effective against her. Tia 2, to be specific.
Well, that is a Dragon Queen down for Admiral Tryhard, as Locke coming out trying to make Tia less evasive, and then going for Swing Blaze coming out Tia 2 against Haate 13th. Swing gets 10 hits, 825. That is Tia 2 down. That is both players for the team of the Cold Hard and Haate on their way to Chaos.
And they're going to find out that pleasant things like double nukes and who knows what other things we missed.
Hey, that Rockwell grind also had Sting hidden behind it that they never saw. That's a good.
And Bojimano in chat sending the popcorn, yes. Grab your popcorn. This is not over.
Peasants back at Kraken 2, down to the fighter, or the knight and the red mage.
Yep, Roosing up the knight, he knows the knight has the life too, so if he goes down to man mode, he can get raised party members back up, which he will have to do.
Noticing something that Haate the 13th just did when he was menuing, he still had the bottle, so he released the fairy 2,000 years into the past.
Let's see, I have to go back to Gaia and wait.
And Peasants through that Kraken 2 fight, loving that life 2 on the fighter, gonna get the red mage back up, get those casts used, doesn't need the warp cast, has 8 on that level. So that's Peasants back on to Tia 2 as Chaos has been identified for Admiral Tryhard, and that information has been passed on to 813th, no doubt.
Yes. Of course, one of the things is Haate doesn't have any ribbons, and Garland has glare.
Yep, and Admiral Tryhard taking advantage of having Wall to supplement the lack of ribbons. But that is a dead black beige for Haate already. And likewise, dead black mage for Tryhard.
Yep, even though the black mages are in different spots, but Tryhard is down to just Chaos now. And of course, what we know, and Admiral Tryhard does not yet, is that Chaos has 2 nukes, at least.
Indeedly do. Thankfully, not seeing any signs of cure on that. So this is a Chaos who takes damage and will only ever take damage, but the amount of damage it can dish out in its place is pretty potent. And this is a thick Chaos, of course, with the scaling we got for these fiends.
Yes, very thick. Meanwhile, it looks like I think Peasants is already down to the Sky Floor, and Woobear is already almost back to Kraken 2. In fact, Peasants is going to be on Chaos. We could have 3 Chaos fights going on at the same time.
Indeedly do. That just shows you how strong these parties are and how fast these gamers are getting down there. They know what's coming. That's Bane taking out the Ninja and the Black Mage again for Woobear, but we know that that Knight can do tons of damage. Meanwhile, on the left side here, Admiral Tryhard and Haate 13th down to just Chaos, having all 3 party members back up, using that life in battle plus some Cure 4 to get back the Black Mage, getting those tempers off, getting some harms out, getting some swings in. The Lit 2, nothing too damaging, still worrying about those nukes rolling over, because looks like Chaos is rolling a 50-50 on the hit to the cast, and there's only 8 spells to cast before it rolls over.
In some cases 4. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that many between the 2 nukes, but I could be misremembering. But 792 hit points on the Knight, it's going to be hard for even 2 nukes to take it down. And there's one of them.
Well, the thing with the spells up, that is a 1 of 2 down. That is Admiral Tryhard, our first victory over Chaos. Of course, it is a co-op, so we have to wait for Haate to get the kill on Chaos if they want to take the victory. Meanwhile, Peasants down 2 party members on that Chaos fight has not cleared out any Garlands, as Woobear is now on Tia, just 1 fiend behind.
Yep, still anyone's race, but those 2 party members were glared by the Garlands, and there's the new Chaos on the Haate. But he's still got a lot of hit points left, especially on the Knight. Not so much on the White Wizard now.
Getting that Cure 4 off, 7+100 hit points on that White Mage, that +40 initial, and the general scaling makes that a fairly survivable White Mage, and that's Fade taking it out. That is GG for the Cold Hard, and Haate taking game 3 of 3.
Yes, so hopefully they want to join us in chat. Meanwhile, Woobear is on Tia 2, and Peasants is trying to take down Chaos, and we are joined in the chat by the Cold, the Hard, and the Haate. GG's!
Oh, that was a scary Topher.
Pay for life in battle.
Yeah, you guys got the lead in that when both Woobear and Peasants ended up falling out for it.
Yep.
Yeah. The big thing for us was that we were both calming the exact actions that all of the Fiends in Chaos were doing with the set battle RNG. So I hard predicted lifed my Black Mage when he got walloped by Kraken as one example.
Yeah, and that Cure 3 I cast on my White Mage was like, Admiral had told me, nuke coming out soon, and it wallops the third party hard.
And that's a great example of some of that communication. And Forsaken had this point out in chat. Y'all didn't forget the loot.
Yeah, we made sure not to bonk off the loot plate tonight.
So
The thing I wish I would have found was, more than just the whole actual incentive ribbon, because, oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't have a single ribbon. I was using pseudo ribbon on the night.
Yeah.
That's something we noticed. That one room on Agama floor you missed, the top left, that had a ribbon.
Of course, it figures.
And
I'm like, that one's too far out of the way. We've already got our stuff. I'm going.
Yeah, Peasants wipes to Chaos again. So, Woobear's probably going to try, but I'm suspecting Wumbology may throw in the towel here, and I wouldn't blame them. They put up fantastic race and really fantastic 3 races.
Yeah, well, and this Chaos is like, if they don't have Cure 4 on their nights, if they went down to man mode, this Chaos is just going to toss them in the microwave.
Yep, 2 nukes on Chaos with a 50-50 chance of casting spells. Yeah, Lit 2's tickle, but that's potent.
Yeah, this is cool. This Chaos was this Chaos made me go ow.
I think he had about 4,500 plus hit points as well.
Oh no.
Yep. Woobear's trying to take him down, but I don't think his knight has Cure 4, and there's Nuke again.
Yeah.
Oh, gets crit through the evade. In fact, I think that happened to him before, and...
Yep.
Yeah,
Set
looks like
battle RNG, it's give it then take it.
Yeah, and it looks like they tossed it out about this point. But GG's to them, because this was...
Yes.
Ooh, this was a hell of a race.
It was, and like I said, I didn't see the first race between you guys, but I saw last night and obvious tonight, and both you guys with the communication, you both ran excellent races, and boy, you all screamed through Topher at an incredible rate.
Yeah, I got real slowed down by that Bane from Kraken. That was the point where it's like, I really wish I had something.
There's not much you can do when slot 1 is like guaranteed to get hit unless you resist it.
And that
And
is
of course,
both
if it's
of them
really
already
nasty,
down.
Yeah. Of course, if the set battle RMG is really nasty, it's put a 3 and 50, 256 on that anyway. It's going down regardless.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't 3 and 256 on that one. It's just that my ribbon was on my White Mage. So I was like, that's going to hit. All right, and was chatting with them in our little scheduling thread. Peasants will be joining us. Woobear cannot, unfortunately. GG's Peasants.
GG's.
Yeah. This series had us had Admiral and I both like, oh god.
That's another new Kate.
Yeah.
That answered my question. How about that chaos?
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. I mean, Woo wiping to it the first time, seeing the triple nuke was like, I came in with that information, and then I think I wiped it like Kraken because like I didn't have my roost stick on the right person, so I was like, okay, well I've screwed it up. I had my roost stick on like the ninja who got like one shot at the start. I think, or Bracked or something. Can't remember what it was, but so then I was like, okay, I gotta go. And I went to go pick up like the life on my fighter as well, because I for some reason promoted after going to Mirage, even though I knew the order was the opposite way. Didn't affect much until obviously Topher. But you guys finished before I ended up getting to Chaos the second time anyway, so didn't end up mattering too much.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to actually see that you didn't have Cure 4 on your night.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I must not have just wrote it down. Like I think I even saw it, like, and I just didn't pick it up or something. I like
Memory holes
that-
happen.
Yeah, that's definitely like on that chaos, because like, you know, like I was trying to out sustain with heal pots but I knew I couldn't do it. I could only out sustain the second nuke because I can't out sustain a third nuke with cure pots. But then also I wasn't rusing because I knew his smacks weren't the worst, but like I couldn't waste the turns of like with a fire sword, like the tempered fire sword. I couldn't waste the turns rusing.
Oh,
Which I think was correct. It's just if I had cure, that definitely is the correct play. It's just I didn't have that, so the best I had was like heal.
well, you guys terrified us through this series. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, I went and looked back. Like, I think I don't know, like, because I didn't see when we entered, but I think we probably entered. Topher.
You guys were about 3 minutes ahead of them going into Topher.
Yeah, like, because me and Wu have been like, we used to like co-op a bunch for Enterprise, and so like we like we're pretty good at understanding each other's like nonsense of like, because we're bad at talking, but like we kind of just know what each other mean. So I feel like we work really well together like during it, but then when it gets to like the final boss, it gets a bit harder.
Yeah, I think that's the difference right there. Hate and I communicating, like we have this really well made spreadsheet by Hate as we're typing in, putting things along, even though if I forget to put in where things that go.
Or if you drop your controller because of typing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that didn't happen to you this time. Hopefully,
a simple rebind of my reset buttons to the left and right analog stick clicking is working quite well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, our tracker and chat lord Fizzlebeast saying understanding each other's nonsense is the key to any top tier co-op team, and I have to agree with that.
It's more like Wu Bear is good at communicating. I'm not, but he's good at understanding what I mean.
Yeah, with how Hate and I talk, we get very robotic especially when we're in battle. Like, hey, I saw this spell. It hurt this slot. It went this. It did it here. This turn order.
I mean, that's really great. Like we say stuff we say everything that happens in the moment, and then like we remember like 70% of it was 50%. You know. So it ends up being like 20 minutes later. I was like, "Hey, where was that roost stick?" And he was like, "I don't know." Stop asking me. You should have remembered it. I'm like, "Okay."
Understandable.
Yeah, well, for the Rouge stick, it was like, oh, it's in Bahamut's Sword? Oh, great, I'll grab it then later.
Exactly, yeah. That was a good race. I can't stay for too long because I've got to take care of some stuff. But I just wanted to pop in basically just to say GG's and thanks for the great races.
Well, thank you too, man. It was scary racing against you two. I mean, y'all like, yeah. From watching you in the Duckling boot camp, yeah, no, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I could terrify somebody.
Yeah. Like basically, this whole race boiled down to me telling Hate, "Hey, these are some of the best mechanical players in a long while. We gotta make sure that we actually like prep and do the adaptability. Like we hard played the set battle RNG to our advantage here."
Yeah, it like from. I popped in just when you guys were doing your interview, like a few minutes before this. I heard you guys talk about how you were taking that chaos, and like, I mean, that's intelligent. It's a really intelligent play, and like it's something that I'm probably definitely going to adapt next time we do chaos. Next time we do co-op, I will be stealing some of those strats. So
And you guys will be even scarier.
even scarier.
Yeah.
Or you can apply that in the AP tournament coming soon.
Well, though I think the set
yeah.
battle RNG isn't going to be set for that. At least I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I can ask people.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll all come out in the wash. That's all I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, GG's again.
Thank
GG's,
you, man.
peasants.
That's GG.
Catch you guys.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks so much. And thanks for the restroom, guys. Catch you guys later.
And as Peasants bails out with Wu Bear taking his time, that brings us to the fact that you two, Hate and Tryhard, are going to be facing Nuke Kids on the Block in the next round of brackets. What do you expect there?
Well, Tryhard, it's been fun playing with you.
Hey, I've beaten these guys before, except I was playing Time Spinner.
All right, true facts.
Like, we know what we're up against, and I think it's going to be a very similar play style to what we have. They're playing smart. So,
that team has, they have dominated before, and I'm just like, oh god.
I am not going to reveal the strategy I have, but I am going to be talking to Hate about it later.
So long as it's not cutting their internet connections, we're fine.
or giving them sleeping pills or something.
Yeah, no, I totally won't be praying for Luffy's internet hamster to have a small heart attack. Nope. No, honestly, though, I wouldn't, because,
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
they're
a
great guys.
Yeah, they're good beans.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen of you two the past 2 nights, I mean, New Kids on the Block will have their hands full because coordination, how you guys have been playing, has been spot on.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah. We ignore those memory holes.
Yeah, well, I'm just
they're
gonna
have memory holes too. I mean, said the coordination strategy. I mean, one's going to memory hole and loot every so often.
Well, before we have any memory holes develop in our cast and for our racers after 3 races going full set, can we get some final thoughts from our racers? Starting with Tate.
Yay for life in battle! That's about the only thing I can think right now, man.
Understood. Tryhard, do you have anything to add?
Our pants stay brown and Topher, and wear sword.
Yeah, just wear khakis. I mean, the name tells the story.
No, but that's my actual strat. Wear sword +5.
Hey, +5. It's a strat.
Yeah, I don't know where a katana or a Masa was, so I'm going with what's guaranteed to give success, and that was getting those levels and relying on that set battle RNGs so we can guide each other as we pass each other.
Proper teamwork. Co-op indeed.
Yeah, it's a great showcase, and Hate and I going back and forth with who's in front and who's behind naturally lets us both take a breather or catch up. It's great, lots of fun co-op.
Yeah, no, I have had an amazing time this tournament. Like, even before the tournament, just practicing, it was so much fun.
Classic, would you like to run us out?
Alrighty, well, thank you to Fabian, my co-coms, Hate and Emil Tryhard, as well as, both Bluebear and Pencil Chief for running a fantastic race. Of course, our restreamer and tracker, the Borfen. Thank you for FFR to having us, and thank you to everyone in chat coming out and having a good time. This is Classic Gamer 786. See you next time.